Welcome to this second webinar in a series where we are talking about digital transformation. Unfortunately, we've had a few logistical issues today. One of the attendees has had to go to an urgent business meeting and will not join us today. That's Fabian Geyer, the GM at the Europark Hotel in Füssen in Bavaria. Unfortunately, Fabian can't make it today, and Ray has not been able to join yet, but we're hoping he will come in a few moments' time. These are the joys of a live demo. These things happen all the time, so we're not going to let that dampen our spirits here. And what that will probably do is mean that we talk more of a sort of fireside chat with Ellen Pettersson, who I am delighted to say is joining us this morning, or has joined us this morning. Ellen is the general manager at both the Hotels France and Ruth in Stockholm, in Sweden, and has an interesting story to tell on digitization. Before we get into the discussion and introduce you to Ellen, let's just set the scene a little bit for today. As I said, this is the second in a series of webinars. The first one we talked on a technology level, really sort of on a theoretical level of how technology could help. And we heard from industry partners, the likes of Philips and Comscope Ruckus and Atem, our digital head-end provider, of what they're doing to make lives easier for us in a digital world. I think it's time to flip that model a little bit for this second webinar. And the idea is really to talk to hoteliers, or in this case, a hotelier, about how they've used technology to support them in their day-to-day lives. We at Hoist Group are largely ex-hoteliers ourselves. I'm not, but many of my colleagues are. And really what we do is driven by the practical use case as much as how wonderful that technology may or may not be. And I think today it's really about hearing that and talking about hearing things. The plan for today is really an interactive session like the last one. We had loads of questions. Keep those questions coming. You'll see here in the Zoom taskbar, if you hover over it, there is a Q&A button with two bubbles above it. If you've got a question, click on that Q&A button. We'll either answer your question during the event or at the end when we'll have a dedicated question and answer session. That's what Q&A stands for. But we really want this to be an interactive event. We really want you to participate. So don't be shy, don't hesitate, and do ask those questions. Digitization, what is it all about? Digital transformation as a process. Hopefully you've been onto our website and have looked at our DTAM model and have looked at some of the themes and the discussions we brought on digital transformation. But really it's quite simple. In layman's terms, digital transformation is all about carefully selecting the right technologies, how those technologies will improve your guest experience, how it will maintain an ever-changing set of expectations, particularly driven by our current context, how back office can be improved, costs can be reduced, distribution can be increased, service can be improved, and responsiveness can be higher. And this is really sort of the key driving themes of using technology. Technology for technology's sake is lovely, great, it's an investment, but the reality is there has to be a return on that investment. There has to be something tangible. So whenever selecting technology, when we talk about carefully doing so, what we're really saying here is have a think about it, talk to your peers, and that's why we bring hoteliers onto the call, see what their experiences are, because you're probably not alone in your digital transformation needs. And as I said, today is less about being conceptual with our vendor partners and more about talking to an actual hotelier or two about how digitization can really make a difference. So without further ado, I'd firstly like to go over to Ellen and say welcome. Please tell us in the audience a few minutes about what it is you do and introduce yourself if you would.
Yeah, thanks for having me. Great pleasure. Me and my family, we run 2 small boutique hotels in Stockholm. We've been in the business ever since I was born and a couple of years before that as well. We run Hotel France that we opened in, October 2019. So pre-corona, 48 rooms, restaurant, small conference. We are part of Best Western, individually owned, but part of Best Western and Premier Collection. Yeah, and tomorrow actually we're opening Hotel Rut, 62 rooms in Vasastan. Also part of Best Western Premier Collection, and opening a restaurant also in October. But we'll have the bar open from tomorrow. So anyone who is in the area, please come by for a glass of champagne or anything like it. Well, what I do, everything. That's the charm of running small hotels, that you get to do everything from marketing, housekeeping, maintenance. So it's always fun when someone calls and asks to speak for the finance department or IT department. Hold on, I will connect you. Hello, it's Ellen again. So, yeah, we do everything, and yeah, so we're opening tomorrow. So we're very excited, and my head is a bit full of things we forgot, but it will be fine.
Well, first of all, congratulations on that. Secondly, thank you so much for taking the time in what is a very busy period to participate in this webinar. And also the offer of a glass of fizz tomorrow. If I was in Stockholm, that's the best offer I've had all day. I'd definitely be there in a flash. But unfortunately, I'm stuck in London, and I'm likely to be so for the foreseeable future. So, Ellen, you're now, as of tomorrow, looking after several hotels. Okay, you've already alluded to the fact that there is no dedicated other teams. You are a small business, but you have the same demands as a large chain. People, you have to provide financial reports, you have to delight your guests, you have to run the front desk, you have to do the housekeeping, and so on and so forth. And you can't physically be in all places and covering all functions at all time. Obviously, you've got a team around you and they help. But how does technology help you in this process? And what are you looking for from that technology to make your already very broad and varied and busy life just much easier?
Yeah, so that is one of my greatest challenges every day, because we really believe in presence, both for our guests and employees. That is what makes the difference, really, both for the guests and employees to see and feel and heard. And that gives that personal touch, but yet I can't be in the same place every day. So well, technology really helps. Firstly, to have the right, as you mentioned, the right report set up. So each morning I can just start the day to make sure that we got all the reservations we need, how all the data looks, and that nothing is missing or not functioning, or but also that I can access both hotels' PMS system through my laptop. So wherever I am, I can still pick up, if there are any VIPs coming that we missed, or any rates that are missing, but also, of course, to see if there are any changes in the pickup pace. So all technology, I believe that the technology we choose should be useful and should help us and to find that right balance in between technology and service.
So can we maybe look at a few of the technologies you've recently selected? You've talked about property management system, absolutely fundamental to running a hotel. What about some of the other technologies that you've implemented at France or will implement at Root? I'm thinking more the sort of mobile journey. You talked about your ability and your requirements to be able to access systems wherever you are. Guests certainly also reflect that same need and requirement. So what are you guys doing to help support that as a process in your hotels?
Yeah, so our business model has been, throughout the years, has been to take over underdeveloped hotels or in old buildings and with underdeveloped both in renovation terms, but also in technological terms. So it has also always been to see the whole picture, both through the guest experience and through management and through cost effective, to be cost effective and to increase revenue. So the changes we made throughout the years here, 3 years in Stockholm, has been firstly to implement electronic keys and the locks. Also, the gift card shop that has been, especially during Corona, I think we implemented it in April, so just when things went down. So that actually helped us because we have a lot of returning guests that were willing to see. They were very friendly to buy gift cards, and we made a campaign through that. And also we made it made us very creative in packaging and what our guests. We have seen increase in local guests staying for a staycation and with dinner and drinks, and so that really helped us during the toughest part to still be able to get some kind of cash flow. But also, we implemented our own hotel engine, booking engine on our website. And we're actually, I think today we're at 60% local reservations through both phone, email, and our website. That's quite positive. What else? Of course, through a guest perspective, we have not implemented mobile keys yet, but it's on its way. And also Chromecast. That's very appreciated by guests.
The casting technology, so that they're in their room, they're enjoying. There's some great stuff there that's of relevance to me. We talk about transformation here. One thing the pandemic has done is definitely forced everybody to step back and think about their offerings. So I'm delighted to hear about what you've done with the gift card shop. Your exact words, you were creative in packaging. What you've really done there, I guess, is not just sold rooms, but thought about the holistic offer of your hotel and bundled and packaged this into something that is more than just buying a room, okay? Which I'm sure is lovely, but the reality is what you're looking at here is a really value-led approach with a bundled solution. Guests are going to travel again. They're going to come back and stay in hotels. And what you've done here, by the sound of things, is offer them the opportunity to secure that future stay at a point of their choosing when they feel comfortable to travel again. And as a reward for that, they'll get a free breakfast or a glass of wine or whatever it may be as part of the package. And that sounds like a lovely way of using a digital technology, in this case, the integrated gift card platform that's part of your website now, to drive that experience. How has guest reaction been to this? Have they loved the idea of this, or have they kept their hands and their wallets in their pockets and not invested in gift cards with you?
No, I really appreciate the gift card shop because it's super easy to use, both for employees and also for guests. So it's very user friendly, but also that it's very flexible. It's seamless. I think we have put quite some investment in like our brand and the whole look and feel on our website, and it doesn't feel like you're transformed to a whole nother page. It rhymes very well with our brand, and so that's been very useful as well. And also, I mean, we made they've been very flexible helping us as well, because we made like a New Year's dinner, so we could sell like tickets through it as well. And also there is the opportunity, if you wish to sell like pillows or so the opportunities are endless, I think. And also it's very important to have that online presence, I think, to find the right balance, because for us it's not like making everything digital, and that the stay should feel like checking in a booth and not seeing any the nice receptionist, or just going in and out from the hotel. For us, it's very much about the experience from entering the website to entering the hotel, from breakfast and walking out. But there are, in fact, different guests and different needs. Some does not want to speak to the receptionist, even if I disagree with them, but that's the fact. I realized.
Again, it's technology for your use case and your experience that you want to offer in your hotel. I think as a guest myself, and we're all guests on this call, I'm looking increasingly for experiences, to a room night. So the idea of, I don't know, a New Year's party or a sundowner's drink on the balcony or whatever it may be as part of my rate is definitely something that I am looking to as a evolved hospitality experience once we can all travel again, and we're increasingly able to do so, and soon hopefully cross-border as well. You talked briefly about investment. You talked about investment in time to digitize the experience, make it consistent, make the look and feel right, work on the brand. In terms of investment in new technologies, Ellen, what's your viewpoint here? Do you see a change in the traditional model? How do you guys invest? Is it typically capital purchases? Are you financing? Is it as a service? What are your current models today, and what are your planned models for the future? Because technology doesn't stand still. You're obviously smart hoteliers. You budget, you plan, and I'm sure you'll grow the brand of hotels or the portfolio of hotels probably over time as well. So new requirements come up. How will you fund those in the future? How have you funded them today? And do you see any change in that? Do you have strong preferences there?
Yeah, and we started renovating Hotel Rut in, let me see, February this year. So in contrary to Hotel France, we made a lot of upfront payments, and we wanted to make the margins as big as possible, of course. But now, when all revenue streams just froze, you definitely want to risk minimize, and also make the payments monthly. So we changed that also during the time, and Hoist has been like a great partner for that as well. So we are lucky that we have partners that are willing to see also for the future, and value us as partners as well. So that absolutely changed during time, and I think risk will be, hoteliers will be less willing to take large risks upfront, and want to minimize risk, of course.
I think that's a very smart approach to the current trading environment. And I think it's very important, not only in selecting carefully your technologies, but selecting carefully the people you work with who provide this sort of service, the ability to pay over a defined or even an undefined time period, especially when cash reserves perhaps have been eaten into keeping the business solvent during a period of ultra low occupancy, or even a period of enforced closure by governments. That makes total sense. Talking about distribution there, you gave a very interesting statistic here. You said 60% of your bookings are local reservations, not going through some of the traditional distribution channels outside of the hotel, perhaps the GDSs or the OTAs. What's your strategy on distribution? Who is, COVID aside, a normal operating environment, whatever the heck that is? I don't know what we're going to come into. It's going to change for sure. That's one thing for certain. But, what is your strategy on distribution here? What is the role of OTAs in your overall mix? And what is your preference here? Or is this really something dynamic and changes from week to week?
Yeah, of course. We would hope that we would be absolutely independent in distribution, all reservations going through us directly. And I think that the OTAs are also very valuable, although it's very expensive, of course. I think from the beginning, a travel agent took maybe 6 or 7%, and they take up to 30%. So it's without the risk, honestly. But I think we try during this situation we have in the world currently, we made our best to also educate guests that book directly with us. We are much more flexible with the cancellation dates, and you can just contact us directly without going through the middle hand. And also, as we spoke about before, packaging has been extremely important. And what was positive was that you actually had time during this year to think of your offering. Otherwise, you were quite happy with the reservation, just streaming in, not looking at every reservation. Now you have each reservation individually seen, and you can really dig into why is the guest going through booking.com, or would the guest be as happy in another hotel? Then you might be happy that the guest just came to you through booking.com or OTA in general. But we try to be as creative as possible on our website with campaigns, and that is not affecting our quality score on the OTAs as well, because they are also creative and doing everything they can to attract guests nowadays, because we're all in the same boat, honestly. But yeah, to offer, we have always ongoing campaign in Google and social media with a code that works. We've changed to Hotel Engine, or our own booking engine, and that really helped, because also that is seamless from the gift card shop. So you can do promotion codes that are fenced, so Booking and Expedia can't shop from them as well. So you're quite free to lower the price a bit there, or to offer something. We try also to not lower the price, but to offer something else, maybe a glass of champagne, or late checkout, or upgrade, something that makes it attractive, or also now with the more flexible cancellation rates as well.
So it seems to me, as an outside observer almost, that what you've done here through, actually it's the same technology platform providing the booking engine as it is providing the gift card shop. What you've done here is taken real control of your distribution. I think as an independent hotelier, that is essential in the face of, let's be honest, the reason booking.com and the other OTAs are so big is because they are very good at what they do. They're good companies.
Absolutely.
Love them or hate them, want them or don't want them, they are very good companies. But it's very important, I think the right balance here is struck. And technology, customizable, branded, the ability to set rates, to set offers, to integrate it all and make it seamless is hugely important in establishing the right level of balance between direct bookings and OTAs. And that's hugely important for everybody in the industry, not just for independents, but for the chains too. I'm sure that's a resonant message for them. And really sort of the final set of questions before we start going, final set of questions to you before we start going over to our audience is to really sort of ask you about sort of the next set of technologies, sort of throw you in the deep end a little bit here. And really ask, are there any sort of areas or trends that you're keen to look at that are interesting to you within your group, that you'd like to consider as your next set of technologies, regardless of whether it's a hoist technology or not. We're talking about, anything digital, anything technology that you wish you had or you're looking into at the moment, without giving away any trade secrets, obviously. What's the next generation of technology selection looking like for Hotels France en Route?
Well, as I spoke about many times now, but it's for us, it's really about like finding the right balance. We don't want to go too digital, but we still want to keep up with the pace and not, because many of these are today that you saw, like you could get in advance from competitors, are today hygiene factors, really. Nothing that sticks out or anything. But I think, we want to grow, and I think what we are looking for is also like the dashboard, for example. If you speak about the back end, where you can collect everything from like the revenue services, and you can collect OTA reviews and TripAdvisor reviews, more like a holistic approach to the whole hotel business. Also maybe to connect the F&B part, that I'm mostly from hotels, but it's also important to connect the F&B part, and I think we have a lot to do there to make them more seamless as well and connected, and because now we're looking at two different PMS systems or back-end systems. So I would love them to merge as well.
So as well as control of distribution, you want control of your data and your analytics, and hopefully some business intelligence.
Oh, exactly. But also take control over the whole. We're looking into these type of pre-arrival emails to increase upsell, also to connect with the guest with GDPR safe and all that comes with it. After stay as well, maybe look into like a monthly email, or to keep in touch with the guest and to increase returning guests, and to remind them to book directly with us, and customized communication with guests, really, in an easy manner, of course. That is important for hotels like us, that does not have like a huge marketing team, or everything needs to be quick and fast and user-friendly, really.
I think the value of data is just increasing on a daily basis.
Exactly.
That's what drives that guest experience. That's what drives the packages that you're being creative on through the gift card shop. Knowing what guest preferences are, what consumption patterns are, what usage is, what margins are. These are all the sometimes missing ingredients that the hoteliers certainly historically have struggled with to a point. And we would absolutely encourage at Hoist Group for people to get in control of their data. And there are many ways that we and other companies, for that matter, can certainly help on. So don't be shy in asking us on that. Ellen, I think we're going to start to wrap up now. We've got some questions coming in. As I can see, I'm looking at two screens here. So if you see my eyes going from screen to screen, don't panic. I'm not doing my lottery ticket on the other screen. I'm looking at the questions that are coming in. Firstly, again, thank you massively for your input here. It's lovely to hear. I've actually really enjoyed it. With the 3 planned hoteliers, it would have been a bit backwards and forwards. Listening to you tell your story about how your operation has, or your operations, plural as of tomorrow, have evolved and developed, and how you've grabbed the market opportunity has certainly for me been a fascinating story. So huge thanks on that. It's now time to open this up to the floor, to the other hoteliers and participants on the call. Before we do that, I just want to sort of just share what we think at Hoist Group. We're very passionate in our belief that technology doesn't replace hospitality. Technology is an enabler in hospitality. Technology done right allows you, let's not lose sight of the fact, hospitality as a term means and has certain values, okay? So let's not lose sight of the fact that human touch is absolutely essential, always. Hopefully someone will strongly disagree with us, and as you rightly said, I never want to talk to a receptionist, or I never want to see anyone in the hotel, I just want to get in and get out. I'm sure there are people, and hopefully there are some in the audience, who will throw a curveball into the questions. But the answer is there's no right or wrong on that. But the role of technology is to strengthen the ability of people to enjoy their experience at the hotel, and for you as hoteliers to operate in a more efficient, reduced cost or increased upsell opportunity as possible. It's not about replacing the key functions that have made hospitality what it is today. It's also nice to get insight on how digital your operations are. It sounds like you're really grasping this from a multidisciplinary perspective. It's not just the technology, it's the guest in mind, it's the marketing, it's the packaging, it's the pricing, it's all the core aspects there of running a hotel. And clearly you're thinking about this a lot. You're looking at how you can improve, you're looking to find the relevant technologies, how you adopt that within your model, which is very much a high touch model in boutique hotels. And it sounds to me like you've developed a phased roadmap for the implementation of these technologies, which again is something that's very important in these decision-making processes. Don't try and necessarily do it all at once. It might be too big a shock to your ecosystem. Doing this in a phased way not only helps on the funding side of things, but also in terms of getting those important staff members to understand the benefits of each and every aspect, I think is very important as well. So folks, thanks for tuning in. Let's go and open the floor up to questions. We've got half a dozen or so come in already. Let's start with Sean. So this is a question for Hoist. Bringing first world solutions to a third world market is not without its challenges. The true value we receive out of our IRE systems are from features such as quick checkouts and the likes. Looking at an African market in particular, would Hoist look into, or has looked into, incorporating USSD codes to manage check-in, check-out, or similar actions that are usually done via a mobile application? So the short answer to that question, Sean, is yes, absolutely. We have not only looked at it, but we have also launched our online front desk. Online front desk has great accelerating potential for the sort of service that you're looking for. We have online registration, we have online check-in. Allied to that, we also have the ability to cut your own mobile key. And we also have online checkout, all through that same platform. It can stand as part of our PMS stack. It can also stand alone as well. So if you are interested in that, and it sounds like you're in the African market, please get in touch with Philippe's team based in Dubai, who look after Africa. All the details are on the website, or we will ping you the details now. And please do get in touch with them and talk to them on that. But yeah, absolutely, facilitating express checkouts is not new. We've done it through TV systems as well in the past. Yeah, it's very much a technology at the moment that is in favor and at the fore. There's a question, next one from Christian. You told us about plans to install mobile key. This is to you, Ellen. Where do you see the benefits of mobile key for your hotel and for your guests, is the question.
Well, the reason why we didn't implement it from the beginning was actually time management, to be honest. We got short of time during opening of Hotel France in 2019, so we just decided to put it on pause. And then a lot of things happened in between, a pandemic and a new hotel. So we just paused it. But I really think that it is an opportunity. I'm not completely sure about the functions really, but I think that we have so many different guests. I would prefer it on a bigger hotel maybe, where you can really be time effective for reception and that type of hotel where you have more in and out feel, but also for small hotels I think it would be useful, because there are guests that also now with the hygiene factors that you maybe not want to hold in a key card, or you feel more confident in opening with your mobile and you can check your bill. So I think within the 12 months here from now, I think we will implement it for both hotels really, just for the guests to have the option.
Some people are just nerds. We like technology. I'm one. I'm the first to stick my hand up and say we do that. But okay, great. Christian, I hope that answers your question. Another question from Christian, actually, asking about the gift card shop. And I think what he's asking here is, what is the involvement of the employees? Do you get them involved, I guess, for physical card handouts, or do you run it purely as a digital distribution channel?
No, we run it from both sides, and it's mostly an advantage for our finance department and for the accounting, because now we get so both the hotel, the guests, they purchase the gift cards online. So we see during Christmas or now with graduations, and also like when we do during the pandemic, we made a campaign that you get 20% off if you buy a gift card. So you can both buy it online, but also the reception, if they just pass by the hotel and say, hey, I want to buy a gift card for my friend, they also register the gift card, and they print it at the hotel, and they take the payment in Hotsoft, but everything is registered for the accountant to get everything correct in the back end. So it's very useful. Before we just sold it and it was hard to keep track of it. Now we get the monthly reports and we can exactly see how much is left on the gift card and the guest. So it's much easier to follow up now, and also very fast to get like a neat and a nice gift card for reception to just print out and put in a nice envelope.
Final question from Christian on this. He's asking, what have been the most successful mechanisms that you've put into the gift card? What are the offers that your guests really love? Is it the money off? Is it the free bottle of champagne? What really sort of ticks their boxes and gets them to invest in these gift cards is the question, I think.
I think the lesson learned from me is to keep it simple. Mm-hmm. We try to not complicate things, like to bring like another partner or tickets from another provider, or to keep everything in-house so it doesn't complicate if you don't have like a full-time concierge or someone who we only have one receptionist working each shift. So it's very important that everything goes smoothly. So we try to keep it on 6 different gift cards in the website, so it doesn't get too plottery either, that it looks very nice when you enter the gift shops, and also not complicate with too many packages. So they know, yeah, we have one with dinner only, dinner and accommodation, and you also get like a glass of champagne when you check in, and one with beverage package as well. So that's the one, but it's what made it good for us is also to involve the restaurant to get guests, because that's also the challenge for hotel restaurants, is to get the guests to stay in the hotel, because usually they have other plans. So we really increased our revenue in restaurants as well, to get the guests to stay at the hotel from check-in to check-out, and to
Lock the
all
front
their
door.
money with us. So that's been very useful. But then we also have like the free, you can choose any amount you want, and we're very famous for our breakfast. So we also sell like a gift card for 2 persons breakfast. So feel free to check out our offering. And also that we remove the things that didn't work. So I think that is also good, that you can quickly change, but really to not make it too complicated has
Keep
been
it simple.
one of the key success factors.
Keep it simple. Absolutely. Absolutely. Cool. Thank you for that. Question from Owen. Hi, Simon and Ellen. Great discussion. Thanks. In terms of new trend digitalization, have you considered NFC, that's near field communications, contactless sharing, tags and cards for guests and in room as immediate pop-up gateway to access hotel digital offerings such as loyalty, room service menu, guest shop, health and spa offering, local sightseeing, etc. Thanks, Owen, and good luck with your new location opening today, Ellen, was the final message from Owen. I think what Owen's asking here is, it's this notion of when the guest goes into the room, for good reasons, I guess we sort of lose some proximity, some contact with the guest, and in turn they lose some contact with us unless they pick up the phone. I think what Owen is asking about here, if I've understood the question correctly, is, have you considered near field communication? These are tags and cards that can activate information for the guest to be able to get that proximity again, and to be able to look at, I don't know, room service ordering lists, or local activities, or whatever it may be, in and around the hotel. Have you had any further thoughts on technologies there? Have you seen anything that you like?
I think we have some work to do there as well, and I know that there are services available for it. We have only on the TV, where you can update the information. And I think also the challenge has been during this year is to co-op with every change in restrictions, and that changes every week. So it's, I think it had been useful to have it digital as well. And so you can always have the latest changes updated on the TV, or if it's like a QR code that the guest can scan, or I'm not sure actually but maybe you can answer that, though, and what the services available are.
Sure. I think there's a growing sort of market here about providing service to the guests without being intrusive. Obviously, we don't want to be in their face necessarily the whole time. Some guests might like that, but I guess the majority probably don't. So it's about using digital channels here for communication and distribution to your guests, and it's interesting here. There's an increasing number of different ways to do it. The number of, as we call them, digital touch points is also increasing. So I guess it's about finding the right ones that work for your hotel at the right cost, and yeah, and implementing those as and when appropriate. But Owen, if you want to share more details with us, feel free to drop us a line at marketing@hoistgroup.com. I'll make sure Ellen gets it as well. I also have a feeling that if you go to info@Hotel France or whatever the email address is, that Ellen, in her many hatted roles, will probably pick that up. So feel free to share details with the rest of us as well. The next question is from Gabriella. Gabriella, thank you for that. Is there a way of getting the database from the revenue system and exporting to your email marketing system? Gabriella, if it's all right with you, I will get a product specialist to give you a buzz and to talk to you rather than flounder on giving you an accurate answer here. Please do write to us and let us know which country you're in, okay, or which hotel you're in. And we will make sure that we will get somebody to follow up after the call and answer your question. Okay, sorry to not answer that one, but I honestly don't know the answer to it, and I'd rather tell you that up front. Okay. Then there's a question from Mohammed. Do you encourage your clients to reuse towels or to skip changing the bed sheets? And do you award them? And do you award them of agreeable, of course, for environmental awareness? Okay. I think that's probably to you, Ellen, as somebody running hotels. What's your policy on the balance between cleanliness for the guest and environmental impact? What's your philosophy here? I would love to hear a bit about that. That's a great question, Mohammed. Thank you.
Well, we use the old-fashioned if the guests have the towel on the wall or we do not change it, and if they have it on the floor, we do change it. And also we have it on, we can see in our reports through HotSoft when the guests stay more than 3 days, we change the sheets as well. I mean, I've been working in hotels before that tried to swap this old habit of the guest telling us when not to clean the room rather than to tell us when to clean the room. But it's always been a disaster. We were like old dogs. It's hard to change old habits and old traditions. So we have the traditional way. We also for security reasons. Now the guests are quite different from what they were before as well. It's a different clientele. So for security reasons, we always want to enter the hotel room to check everything and that everything is in order as well. But I think it's also important to think of environment, of course, but we do that in with our providers instead and suppliers.
Thank you. And Gabriella, thanks for letting us know in the chat which hotel you're in. We'll make sure the Irish team follows up with you on that one and gives you guidance and support in that. Are there any final questions anyone would like to ask? Anything for Ellen, anything for me, or for anyone else on the call? In which case, again, I'd like to say, Ellen, massive thank you for your time today, and very best of luck for tomorrow's opening. We hope it goes as well as openings go. I wouldn't say well, because there's always last minute crazy stuff that happens, but as well as they can possibly go, we wish you the very best of luck. Thank you from the bottom of our hearts for participating today. To the audience, thank you for listening in to us and for asking us some really, really good questions there. There's some follow-ups for us to do that we'll do. If you've got any questions, do ping us at marketing@hoistgroup.com. If you are in Stockholm, look up Ellen. She's at Hotel France and the Hotel Route, RUTH, opening tomorrow. Please do go and try out that breakfast. I know I'm going to come and try it one of these days. And this is a recorded session as well, so we will be able to distribute this if you've got colleagues who would be interested in some of the content. Again, drop us a note at marketing@hoistgroup.com and we will forward you the links for the recordings. On that note, thank you to Matt and Louise, particularly, who have organised today, and I wish you all a very good rest of the day and rest of the week. Take care, many thanks, and speak to you soon. Bye now.